we're living on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
Hey, I'm FTFE, welcome back to the channel that does to stupidity what having Halloween candy around does to my self-control. So, I've been challenged to a flat earth debate tonight by a guy who says that he's a physics teacher or something. I mean, obviously ridiculous, no physics teacher could be a flat earther. He didn't tell me his name, I've got here, what's here? He's known on the internet as a bald-headed twat. I don't know, you guys might know him, I'm not sure. But anyway, we all know that I've got the challenge that says that if there's someone that thinks the Earth is flat, that is like a physics teacher or got qualifications in physics, that I'll delete my channel. So let's just speak to this numpty and see what's going on there. So hello. One sec, guys. Just.
So there we go. Rudely interrupted, eh? Rudely I don't know if you can hear us or not on his channel or whatever. I don't know if maybe I'm talking over his blank bar. FTFE, if you can hear me, shout at me.
Hi, cats. What the fuck are you doing in a flat Earth? You're on the wrong side.
You know what, mate? I think we've seen some awful flat Earth debates lately, and I think the argument, like the arguments Flatzoid brought last week, the argument that Nathan Oakley brings every day, the arguments that Dell brings every week, they're so low level and ridiculous.
Overlapping layers.
I thought that if I took just 15 minutes in my dinner break, I could come up with a better flat Earth model than anybody's ever used, even though I know it's rubbish. But I want to test your debunking skills, mate, because I've not shown you this. And I want to show it you and see if you can debunk it on the fly. See what comes out of it in terms of a conversation. What do you reckon?
I'm scared. Like, right, Kat, I've had 678 flat Earth debates. Okay, I've not lost any. I'm 678 for O. You're not going to ruin that for me, are you?
I'm going to do my best, bud. I'm going to do my best. Can I just, before you came in, because obviously I was streaming over here, can I just, for 20 seconds, just finish off and say to those watching on my channel that at midnight, that is when my debate against the anti-virus man starts at midnight.
20 seconds to finish off, is that how long it normally takes?
Wait, that's twice. Listen, this first hour is yours. I'm gonna lead for the second hour when my opponent turns up, but this first hour is yours, mate. So you dictate the terms, you dictate the structure. Let us know what it's going to be.
Well, you finish saying hello to your chat and explain the debate that's coming up. So just for my guys, at 12:30 or 12, sorry. So just in 55 minutes, Katz has got a debate on his channel about the existence of viruses, and this is just like a little prelude to that. So, Katz, please finish explaining the premise to your guys, and then we'll get on with me getting destroyed in the flat Earth debate.
Right, I think the premise is, I think some people in my chat are saying I'm really quiet. I've turned my volume up.
Yeah, I've turned you up a bit here as well.
Hopefully that's a bit better. But yeah, so the premise is essentially this, that I want to show flat earthers that when they debate, they really don't think through anything. When they're asked to bring some kind of working model or evidence for the effort that they put in is it's just pathetic, isn't it? They don't think anything through whatsoever. Their evidence, their thinking is so low level. I want to show that in 15 minutes, even I, that think it's a load of tosh, can come up with something better than they can. They've got to raise the game a little bit, and hopefully they'll realise just how low level the rubbish is, or I might get destroyed off FTFE. We'll see.
So you spent 15 minutes thinking of some flat Earth evidence.
I tell you, and I tell you exactly where it came from as well. It came from a jalapeno that I had in Subway salad. You'll see when I get into it.
Am I about to lose my channel because of a jalapeno? Is that what's going to happen? Because not only did I say I'd delete my channel, I said I'd delete Simon Dan's. He didn't agree to it, but, you know.
Oh, I love it. It may be. We'll see. No, obviously, there's even I know what the debunks to this model are, and anyone watching will be able to debunk it. But I'm hoping to bring some new arguments that you've never seen. That's what I'm hoping.
You know why this isn't fair, though, right? Is because you've spent 15 minutes thinking, which is 15 minutes more than any flat earther has ever spent thinking. So
About anything.
yeah. I mean, they can spend 15 minutes trying to tie their shoelaces, but, you know, that's not really the same thing.
Oh, getting out of revolving door, I like that one.
Right, so why don't you just go ahead and present just one piece of evidence, just one model. Is that what you've got?
You know what? I really don't know because I spent most of my time preparing for the virus debate. But I'm just going to talk you through some stuff, all right? And then we'll see how we go. Okay?
Right. Okay.
So when I add to stream, I don't think I can see you. So when you just tell me when to take off what's on the stream. Right. So if I do that, and I've got a feeling then that if I do this and I do that. Can you see me now, or can you just see?
No, we can see you and the presentation.
Oh, see, I can't even see that. Right, I'm going to ask you some questions.
42
FTFE. For inches. I had a chat. I had a debate on your channel last week. I very much enjoyed it, and I talked about honesty with flat fluid. So, listen, mate, I'm only going to have to do the same with you. Otherwise, people will accuse me of favoritism. Right. So this is an honesty test. I'm just going to ask you some, if the observations I put on the screen comport with what you think the Earth, your model of the Earth, okay? Do you think what is on the screen here now comports with the globe Earth?
Yes, absolutely, 100%.
Okay, and why is that?
Because there is sets of stars both in the north and south that are in alignment with our axial tilt. So as the Earth rotates, you would expect to, standing at certain points, see an exact circle of star trails like that.
Okay, so I'm glad you agree that there's an axial tilt and a rotation. Do you agree that might comport with the reality of the shape of the Earth?
Yeah. Obviously, that's not what you'd see if you just stand there looking at it. This is a long exposure photograph showing, you know, the trails over a period of time. But yeah, this is. You know, this is something that is possible because the Earth is rotating and has a tilt in relation to the stars around us.
All right, so I'm glad you agree with my model so far. So no disagreements. Now, what I want to do is I want to show you this. We all know Mick West. We know Mick West does some really clever debunkery.
Yeah.
Have you ever
Also,
seen
did you know that he coded the original Tony Hawk's Pro Skater?
Oh, somebody told me that. Was that you?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I hate you, Mick West, because you stole so much of my childhood.
Yeah. Well, Mick West did this brilliant debunk, and he looked at stars rotate, you know, obviously the star trails, and he saw that closer to the horizon, they appear to, he's called them like slowing down, but they appear not to move as much in relation to others because we're looking through more atmosphere when we're looking across the horizon. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, there's going to be atmospheric effects that change the apparent motion of stars when you're looking through different layers, yeah.
Brilliant. So this is his video on it. And, you know, you can see the calculations. So if anyone doubts that, you can go. So I'm glad you agree with my flat Earth model so far.
What? No.
Would you agree that the Earth's crust is covered in tectonic plates and that we seem to have less toxic tectonics? We have less tectonic plates.
Less tic-tac plates.
Less tic-tac. Oh, stuff it. It still makes more sense than last week. Would you agree that we've got less tectonic plates at the poles?
Yeah, there is a tectonic line that is relatively close to the North Pole, but there is more tectonic activity around the equator than there is towards the poles in general.
All right, cool. So you see that, and would you agree? I've used this in debates before that we have P-wave shadow zones with because of seismic activity, that we get this distribution of seismic waves from an earthquake as they travel through the Earth. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, that comport exactly with the globe, 100%. Yeah.
Cool. So you're falling right into my trap here, mate. When I pull this is going to be genius. When I pull what I'm about to pull, like, I can't wait. All right, would you agree with this? I pulled this out of a PowerPoint that we used to use for A-level teaching. It might not be clear without the rate. Have you seen it? Does that need explained to you?
No, it's showing the comparison of gravitational strength compared to how far away you are from the center of the radius of Earth.
So you would agree that when you are at the center of the Earth, the net gravitational pull on you is 0, and when you move further away from the Earth, further away from the center, sorry, the gravitational pull on you increases, but you've still got a bit of mass on Earth kind of all around you, so it doesn't really reach its maximum until you're at the surface of the Earth. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, there's going to be mass all around you if you're under the surface of the Earth, so you're going to have to take that all into account when you were using Newton's gravitational law to calculate the forces involved. It's a lot simpler if you're on the surface because the entire mass is below you.
Perfect. Now, you don't know it, mate, but you've just fallen right into my trap. Can you guess what it is yet?
No, and I'm scared.
Okay, so we both agree. Oh, you've just said, right, I don't want to misquote you, but you've just said the more mass there is between you and the center of the Earth, the higher the local gravitational field strength is going to be. What shape is the Earth, Tiffy?
Roughly a sphere.
When you say roughly a sphere, go on. What do you mean?
It's a very, very, very oblate sphere with a 42-mile difference between the equatorial radius and the polar radius.
So it's an oblate spheroid.
Sorry, the polar diameter and the equatorial diameter, 42 miles difference.
So the Earth is an oblate sphere. Now, judging by everything that we've just said, everything you have just said, and I just want to remind everybody watching, right, that you have just
I'm sorry, I've got to go. There's something going on.
That you have just said that when you're at the surface of the Earth, the more mass the more Earth that you've got between yourself and the center of the Earth, the stronger the gravitational pull will be. Now, this is, by the way, if you just tuned in, I'm not a flat earther. I'm just pretending to give a flat Earth argument that's better than any flat
Just because the top of his head is very flat, it doesn't mean that he thinks the Earth is flat.
No, I'm just showing him how it's done. So I've led you down a nice little, thank you for agreeing. What I've got here is a map of the local gravitational pull on the surface of the Earth. Now, what you would expect, based on what you just said, is it not? For the local gravitational strength to be higher at the equator where the Earth is bulging, you've got more Earth in between the surface and the equator, and the center, sorry. But when we actually look at the map, that's not what we see. We see a nice little red bit here over the west coast of Africa. And over here on the other side, and this is going to support my model 100%, we have another strong little bit of gravity over here. My geography is pretty poor. That's Burnley, is it? Not quite sure where that is. Just north of Australia. And that doesn't comport with your model whatsoever. But what it does do is it comports with my model. So all the evidence that we've discussed so far comports with my model, but that bit isn't going to comport with yours. So I'll show you my model in a minute, but is there anything you want to question me on so far?
So, with the gravitational distribution around the Earth, in general, there is a stronger gravitational acceleration at the poles than there is at the equator. That's because there is less centrifugal force being applied to you at the poles, and the poles are actually slightly closer to the center of the Earth. So you tend to have a stronger gravitational acceleration because the distance towards the center is less. Obviously, there is mountains and everything which alter the gravitational acceleration slightly at different places around the Earth. But in general, I think what you've showed agrees with me and not dumbass flat Earths.
Well, I think it's going to agree with my model, all right? Because let's have a look again. We've got here, just on is that the west coast of South America?
Yeah.
We got over here, right? Roughly about 180 degrees apart. Now, let me introduce you to the tic-tac flat Earth.
The tic-tac flat Earth.
The tic-tac flat Earth. You see,
Look, I've had Pac-Man flat Earth. This can't be stupider than that, can it?
This is, mate, if you can debunk this, I'll be. Am I showing this?
No, you're not screen sharing right now.
Oh, bummer. Why not? Why am I not doing that? Share screen. You know, I'm not as technically proficient as you, mate. I should have just done this over.
Sorry, I've got a team of NASA agents that do everything for me, so, you know.
Okay, so everything so far, you seem to not have too much of a problem with. Well, I'm going to tell you that the Earth is actually flat. And it looks, I mean, this is a poor representation here. it looks a little bit more like this side on, right? And it's shaped a little bit like a tic-tac. It's shaped a little bit like a surfboard, if you like.
Which is your favourite kind of tic-tac? Is it the mint ones, or do you like the fruity ones?
Oh, you know what? When I was a kid, it was the fruity ones. Now it's the mint ones. What about yourself?
Green and orange. You've had the green and orange ones together. God, eat those forever.
Are they quite zingy and zangy now?
Yeah, I love them. Anyway, Flat Earth, tic-tacs, yes.
This is it. Now, how does it explain everything that we just said? Well, first of all, let's revisit what you told me about tectonic plates. You told me that the Earth has a smaller number of tectonic plates at the poles. Now, a tic-tac shaped flat Earth, and I'm saying it's flat Earth because if you're kind of on the sides of it here, it feels...
tic-tacs have tectonic plates? Tic-tac tectonics?
The tic-tac tectonic. That's why I was saying tic-tac before. I was getting confused. I nearly blew it. You would expect there to be less tectonic plates where the surface area of the Earth is smaller, which is obviously at the poles of the tic-tac flat Earth. So, I mean, what you just said fully verifies that. We talked about the P waves and S waves, but actually what's going on is this down here, right? Now, what I want you to notice when we talk about P waves and S waves and the distribution, and this fits my model perfectly, and I'd love an explanation for yours. As if we tilt it on its side, you know, imagine the north and the south that we've got here, we would expect, because most of the refraction is caused by the outer core here, we would expect there to be less of these seismic waves as we're traveling down, reaching the poles. And what do we find when we actually look at the data? We find that there are less earthquakes and tremors in Antarctica than anywhere else. Less. That can't be explained on your model.
Yeah. Does anyone know where the option to delete the channel is? I'm just looking for it.
So I'll be asking you to explain why there are less.
Let me ask you a quick question right now. This is a flat Earth, right? We're looking down on top of a hot dog tic-tac shaped Earth. What's the core?
Oh, now this is where it's beautiful. You see, there's very, very little difference between the core of the real globe Earth and the core of the tic-tac Earth. Essentially, it's the same. It's only the shape that's different.
But there's a core of the globe Earth because we're a sphere and the core is in the middle. If your Earth is flat and two-dimensional, is there just like, I don't know, a big crater with bubbling hot molten iron in the middle that you have to avoid, that's just sitting on the top? Because there's no center of a flat plane.
It looks just like this, mate. It's it's flat-ish, but it's got a thickness to it. It's not two-dimensional, and in that thickness, we have our inner core.
Flat-ish, but there's a thickness to it. Who said that to me recently? Wait, sorry, what? No.
So, I'm almost there, and then you can.
That's what she said.
I don't think you will. See, we've talked about the tectonic plates. We know there's less tectonic plates at the poles, so therefore there's less likely to be earthquakes. And the what have I talked about? Sorry, we talked about this, didn't we? The seismic waves being less likely to reach the poles, so we're less likely to have earthquakes in Antarctica. We talked about Mick West, right? In the tic-tac flat Earth, if I'm stood here on the flat bit looking here, look at the amount of atmosphere I've got to look through as that tic-tac flat Earth spins, which perfectly backs up Mick West's observation.
The tic-tac tectonic Earth spins now.
Oh, listen, mate, it rotates on an axis, right? That's why we have star trails. It goes around the sun, right? It does all of those things.
Right, so it's literally, well, not a disc in space, but a tic-tac, a flat tic-tac in space.
Yeah, not that flat, though. It's kind of this shape, flat, what you see on the screen.
And do people live all around it? Or...
Yeah, absolutely, because gravity's a thing.
Right, so it's not really a flat Earth, it's more a squished American football Earth.
Yeah, maybe, but if you stood on it, like, for very long local periods, it's extremely flat. Most of the curvature is obviously around the edges.
Oh, okay.
We're not allowed to go.
We're not allowed to go around the edges.
No, I'm only kidding.
So if you're standing at the top, say where the arrow is there people antipodal to you on the other side?
Oh yeah. It's just like it would be on a globe, except it's not a globe.
So it's a cylinder. It's like a squished American football Earth. Right. So this would be an issue with gravity because, according to this, there would be so much less gravity at like the areas of the equator than there is at the poles, rather than just a slight difference. The difference that we have on Earth is 0.05% of the gravitational acceleration difference between the equator and the poles. With this shape, if you were applying Newton's law, the difference in gravitational acceleration at what you would call the equator to the poles would be 2 to 3 times. Meaning that if you were at the poles, you could jump 3 times as high. And when I was in McMurdo Station, I don't remember being able to jump as high as a building.
Now, would you believe me if I said I thought you might say that?
Probably, yeah.
And if we look at the tic-tac flat Earth, this one at the bottom, what we can see is...
Is it tic-tac or tic-tac? I'm confused.
No fucking idea. Tic-tac. If we look at the tic-tac flat Earth out here, we can see the distribution of the liquid, well, both cores, the inner and the outer core. It's not symmetrical, is it? We have a greater volume of this denser, more massive core pointing in the direction, like in between the poles and the center, than we do in between the other parts and the center, and that balances out those gravitational, you know, it's quite exact the way it balances it out.
Well, the thing is with the gravitational Newton's law of gravitational acceleration, because it's the end of it is r squared. That means that there's a force that's inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. So the how much further away it is gives much more of an effect to the force than how much mass and density there is. So I still don't think that would work.
Well, the thing is, you're right. This picture is obviously a squashed version of the globe picture above. You know, if
you admitted it.
If you had really cut the Earth in half, would you see that the liquid would be squished out even more to the exact distance that's required to overcome the inverse square law?
Convenient, right?
It is convenient, but
it is convenient.
The evidence doesn't end there, mate. And I'll let you tell. We're going to just also.
So when it rotates, is it rotating long ways? So you'd have to stand on the the pointy bit at the end to see the star trails exactly as they were.
No, it is, but it's not a point like that. You know, there is curvature to it.
Yeah,
like there is on the globe.
I mean, there's a curvature on American football, but you can still say which end there's a pointy bit. So is the pointy bits on this the north and south? Yeah.
Yeah.
You said you weren't allowed to go there.
Yeah, I was joking.
But you also gave us pictures of star trails from there.
Absolutely. And
got to lie to Flerfs.
We'd get that on the tic-tac Earth. Tic-tac Earth. We get it on the tic-tac Earth. Because you're on a fixed point and you're spinning. And
you know what's happening right now is that Gary Webenenga in the chat is furiously taking notes.
Like, this guy's a genius. Mate, the evidence doesn't end there, though. The evidence doesn't end there. I want you to go to the European Space Agency website, because I'm sure we all trust the data we get from there. And I want you to look at the altitudes of polar orbits. And I want you to see that. If the even slowly, I can't say it. If the tic-tac flat Earth wasn't true, why would a polar satellite have to do that?
It's called gravitational slingshotting. They do that in a particular orbit so that they can be close at certain points and further away at certain points. And they could have an orbit more center if they want, but they wanted that one to be closer at certain points and I don't know. I don't work for the ESA. Well, I can't debunk this, guys. I'm sorry, but I think the Earth might be a tic-tac tectonic tic-tac.
Well, that's the best I can come up with. I think there were a couple more arguments that might occur. I've got them all written down somewhere.
Oh God, come on! Flat Earthers can't write.
It did all that handwriting. So, mate, it's over to you. I've made the bulk of my presentation. Rip it apart, bud.
Yeah, so I'm assuming if I was to present any picture of the Earth from space, like, you know, the one that I've got here that was taken in 1969, you would just say it was fake because it's reasons. So if I was, for instance, to show you this, that was taken by, I think, Apollo 15.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't look like a tic-tac, does it, you cat?
I've just got to reply to Andrew Clark in the chat. Sorry, he just said, when's the virus debate? It starts in half an hour, mate. So
Yeah.
the virus debate starts in half an hour. Just to Adrian Clark in the chat.
And Gary Webenenga, this isn't the time for you and I to debate. Obviously, Katz and I are doing something. Please contact me separately to arrange debate. But yeah, Mr. Physics teacher, and I say physics teacher in inverted quotes, does this, and I'm going to test your honesty here, does this look
mate.
like a tic-tac?
It does, before or after eating?
Sorry, what?
Before or after eating of the tic-tac, do you mean?
Well, does your tic-tac Earth look like a tic-tac before or after eating?
Oh, I thought you said, does that look like a tic-tac? And I'm saying, are you comparing that to a tic-tac before or after it's been eaten and ejected?
Well, let's go with wait, are you saying this is what your poos look like? Because, Katz, you need to see a doctor.
I mean, look, if you're going to bring proper pictures of the Earth, then obviously I can't debunk that. I mean, like...
All right, okay, look, I've got a much better picture. Let's see if you can debunk this one.
Oh, bless, who's that?
That's Dave.
Oh, hello, Dave. That's amazing. No, I can't debunk that. Now, thing is, on a scale of 1 to 10, mate, because there's no way, obviously, if we were to debate this, you would rip me a new one every day of the week, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to insult your intelligence by.
Oh wait, no, I've just thought of the best actual debunk for it. Actually using physics. So, can you put your model back up a sec?
Yeah, I can, and I will. Just let me figure out how. There we go.
Yeah, Gary, Katz is only here for another 30 minutes until he's got something else. So we don't have enough time for you and for you to come on right now and have our argument with us. I want it to happen, but I also want it to be, when there's appropriate time. 30 minutes isn't enough for me to embarrass you. Right, so
there we go. That'll do.
So this is your tic-tac Earth, right? This is the shape of it. Now, I'm assuming you have heard of Foucault's pendulum.
I have heard of Foucault's pendulum, yes.
So, with Foucault's pendulum, there is a specific relationship between the drift of the pendulum from a straight forward back and line swing to the latitude you are on Earth. The closer you are to the poles, the closer to 24 hours it would take to do a full rotation. If you're at the equator, there actually wouldn't be any drift. The specific relationship called Foucault's sine law works because the relationship is based on the fact that the Earth has a curve based on the dimensions that we understand. The Coriolis forces applied are specifically because the Earth is a ball. If you did the calculations of the forces applied due to Foucault's sine law for each latitude on Earth, it would correspond to the shape of the Earth being a ball with the forces applied at each point. If you were to take a latitude on Earth and say, right, well, this is the forces, the Coriolis forces being applied to Foucault's pendulum at X latitude, and applied that to your model, it wouldn't correspond because of the shape. It would give very different Coriolis forces at the different latitudes to what we experience in reality. There's my debunk.
Okay, mate. Let me ask you something. If we take here, my Earth is side on. So if we take the left and right, the tub as a north and south, right? You just said that at the North Pole of the Earth. Just tell me again that the drift would be what?
At the North and South Pole, the drift of a pendulum is 24 hours, 360 degrees.
And at the equator, it would be zero.
There's zero drift, yeah.
So this is mine, and it's spinning, like that around the poles. If you were stood on the pole of my Earth, it would be 24 hours, wouldn't it?
Yes, it still would be at the poles, and at the equator there would still be a relationship of 0. However, the relationship that we experience in reality at every point between that, when you calculate what the forces are applied, it would have to be because the Earth is a specific shape. The shape, if you were to map out the vector of forces, where, you know, at this point there's this force being applied, at this point there's this force being applied, it would give you a sphere. It wouldn't give you a tic-tac. You can calculate the forces that are being applied from experiments that give you examples of Coriolis force, even using things like Eocht forces. You can calculate where the forces are applied and how much they're applied at certain points, and map out those force points, and it would give you a sphere, not a tic-tac.
I mean, it's a good story, isn't it? But I mean, I'm sure I could divide the tic-tac flat Earth into you know, however many degrees you want to do it, and put them the right distance apart to make it work. Obviously, I haven't done any maths in that whatsoever. I'll leave that to the actual flat Earthers.
Maths, flat Earthers, come on, cats! Don't be stupid.
But go on, so on a scale of 1 to 10, out of all the flat Earth models that you, because how many debates have you done now?
Like over 670.
Damn. So out of all those 600, like, how many people have brought a model that is better than that one?
None. I think the closest that I've ever got to something that's being able to almost comport to reality is, and this sounds stupid, but it was when I got presented the Pac-Man Earth, because they were able to keep the distortions of Earth correct with, you know, having different segments and stuff, and teleporting from one side to the other. It was the only time that you're able to say, well, yeah, that the continents and everything, they're the right shape, but, you know, it would also be a flat plane that was random bumps and stuff, and you would have to teleport from one end to the other. It was just as good as any flat Earth model I've ever seen, Cats.
Well, just as good I'll take. I'll start celebrating now. I'm only going to have 2 tonight because it's my big debate in 25 minutes. I just want to thank Timo Lynch. I don't know if you can see that on your channel there, FTFE. But he says, Bible says, dogs sent angels to the 4 corners of the earth. The Bible equals an historical document because of trees. Globes don't have corners. Earth is flat. You know, it's hard to argue with that.
Well, yeah, the 4 dogs at the corners of the earth. We all know those, right?
So
we got Pluto. What's the other one? Brutus. Yeah. So obviously, what you brought is very easy to debunk, right?
Yeah.
And this shows a problem to me with the flat Earth. You are a physics teacher. You understand physics, and even with your intricate knowledge of physics and generally having an IQ, you know, higher than a marshmallow, you just still couldn't really come up with a good flat Earth argument.
No, it was so hard, mate. It was so hard. I mean, like I said, I spent 15 minutes on it, but then after that, I kept thinking, how can I improve it? How can I improve it? How can I improve it? And there is nothing.
No.
And it made me realise why all these other flat Earth debaters, whatever, they never bring any evidence of anything. They always are trying to attack the globe because it's easy to try and pick somebody's knowledge apart about either space or Coriolis or this, that, and the other. To try and make them look like they know what they're talking about, rather than bring some kind of evidence that, you know, that what they're saying is right. It's so much easier.
Flat Earthers can't bring flat Earth evidence for the simple reason that there isn't any. You know, anything that can be considered flat Earth evidence, like the horizon looks flat. All right, okay, let's all admit that if the Earth was flat, there would probably be a relatively flat horizon. That we all agree that's something that we would probably see on a flat Earth. But you can't then explain all the other things that say it's a globe, you know? You can't bring evidence that purely shows the Earth is flat because it just doesn't exist. And that's why, like you said, when they come to debate, all they do is use their ignorance of physics to try and argue with you about the globe. And because they don't understand something like the Coriolis forces or how gravitational acceleration is applied, or you know, because they don't know these things, they can misunderstand what they're seeing and what they're trying, you know, to apply to reality, and you think that the Earth is flat. If they actually studied physics and saw that it applies to reality, They wouldn't think that the Earth is flat because you can't have those two things. And that's why I've got the thing on my channel. If you can bring me someone with a master's degree in physics, right, that can prove to me they've got a master's degree in physics, and that they say, based on their knowledge of physics, the Earth is flat, I would delete mine and Simon Dan's channel.
Yeah, Simon, yeah, take him down, mate. Take him with you. Right. I'm sure he wouldn't mind that. M2M just wants to pick you up, and he says, I don't know if you can see it from on your side, but he said,
"Oh, 1971, oh, it was one of the earlier ones." Then I'm sorry. Yeah, but yeah, that was one of the first shots, one of the first full shots of Earth. Before then, they took the much better one from Apollo 17, which I have here as well. So this was the first one they took, and then this was the much better one that was taken from Apollo 17. Planet Africa, as the Flerfs call it, because they don't understand how perspective actually works.
I mean, how many times have people done that demonstration themselves? Like, even just film a globe and then change the zoom and just show exactly. Oh, there you go, you've got it.
Yeah. This Tommy Gronville took this same globe, same camera, just different focal length and moving slightly further away. You know, and they base their entire thing on this. They'd be like, "Ha, look, how can this be the Earth? Haha, we see that NASA's faked it." And I always think, well, hold on. You think that NASA are smart enough that they fooled the entire world for decades and decades, yet they can't get the continents right on a picture of Earth? Are they dumb or are they smart? Which one is it?
All the gotchas are so like that. You know, the claim that there's this super intelligent, super powerful thing that is or entity or group who have managed to so cleverly weave all this intricate maths into everything we're doing, so everybody buys it hook, line, sinker. Yet they're simultaneously so dumb that they will broadcast like videos on YouTube showing the trapeze equipment.
Yeah, glitches and hair. Oh, look at the wires. Where's their wires?
Oh man, I know, it's fantastic. But
it's the denial of reality, and so many times when I've debated them, and I destroy their evidence, and they're just reset, and we'll have spent 2 hours talking about something, and I'll get to the end of it, and I'll explain everything, but then they just go back to the start and pretend like we've never had the conversation.
PhD Tony, absolute legend. Thank you so much for that. Yes,
PhD Tony.
What an intelligent guy. That I don't see much of him these days because obviously time zones and stuff like that. It's a late one for me this. So thank you for being here. Thank you for that. And yeah, fewer tectonic plates, not less. But I come from Blackburn and we don't necessarily speak proper.
Yeah. Plus, he was pretending to be a flat earther, Tony. You can't expect him to use grammar as well as giving a semi-coherent argument for the shape of the Earth not being a globe.
You know what? When I was planning this, the presentation. I thought, oh God, if I say that, that's wrong, and if I say that, that's going to be wrong. I don't want to, I better research this a bit better. And then I thought, fuck it, I'm being a flat earther. It don't matter. Just get everything
That's
wrong.
the problem. You can't come up with a cohesive flat Earth model. The best flat Earth model that I've been told there is when Nathan Oakley and Quantum Erasure told me straight up that Google Earth was a flat Earth model.
Yeah. Flatzoid said that last week as well, didn't he?
Oh yeah, because he's obviously an Oakleyite. So and it's insane that they can say these things when reality so clearly shows it's the opposite. But I think something's happening with Flatzoid, right? I've been paying very close attention to his streams because I have been in the process of writing his episode of Flerfs are Idiots for a while, right? But he is changing a lot of his arguments, changing the way he's formulating his arguments, and he's forcing himself to concede a lot of things. And I see a lot of the way Ranty went happening to Flatzoid.
We know, it's funny you should say that. I won't mention who this is because everybody in the chat will probably encounter this person, and I don't want to say anything about who it might be, but in case you don't want me to. But somebody sent me a tweet before Brandon left. You know Brandon, who took over Anti's channel?
Yeah.
They sent me a direct message and said, I think you need to reach out to Brandon because I'm listening to his show, and everything you just said then, that person said to me about Brandon, thinks they're really coming around, they're listening to arguments more, etc. And now might be a good time to try and rescue him a little bit. And that was about 2 weeks before we never saw Brandon again.
Yeah, and Brandon has completely disappeared. He said a couple of times he's going to come back, but he never has. And I think you're right, because I did watch that quite often, and they were actually having some internal arguments about some certain things because they had to make some concessions. You know, I don't know if Flatsoid will ever admit the Earth's a globe, but there's a lot of things he is making concessions about with things that, because he's doing these daily streams, right? And I think that means that he is actually looking into the things that he wants to talk about because he wants to keep the momentum going. And good on him, you know, he's actually built that channel quite well, and it's doing better than Oakley, which is anyone doing better than Oakley I'm happy about, you know. And even though he can say some incredibly stupid things, he is questioning himself, which is the most important thing.
And I think the fact that maybe he's doing these daily streams is going to help him with that, because if you go into his comment channel, I think his comments, sorry, on his channel,
yeah,
he does the streams full of confidence, and then afterwards there is absolutely nothing but people telling him exactly.
Gets ripped apart. Yeah.
He gets, and he must expect it, but it's got to at some point make him realise, I really don't know what I'm talking about, do I? You know,
no,
must do. So,
Mr. Spank says Flatsoy wants to get on the globe side so he can bring it down from the inside. Now, I've said this about Ranty. I've said that if Ranty's playing a long game, right, and he's pretending to be a glober, and he's just doing this, then I'm not even fucking mad, because he's done it so well.
He's done a great job, hasn't he? Yes. Yeah, hats off to him.
Yeah.
Brenda's asking what's happening. Me and FTFE are going to go our separate ways pretty soon. There's a debate.
We're breaking up. Oh, I'm so sad.
There's a debate on this channel in about 15 minutes. Somebody who doesn't believe in viruses, and I'm going to educate them on the existence of viruses. FTFE, what are you doing on your channel? Are you carrying on streaming?
No, I've got a debate tomorrow and another one on Saturday, so I'm preparing for those, and I'm also very deep in the process of finishing the script for episode 72 of Flerfs Are Idiots. Do you want to see the thumbnail for it? Because I think YouTube might shout at me for this thumbnail.
Do it, mate.
Where is it? Here we go. Yeah, so I don't know if you guys saw episode 71 where I died and Emma had to take over, but this is part 2 of that, and here is the thumbnail.
I'm sure I've seen that thumbnail. Is that up scheduled for a future stream?
No, it's similar to part 1, but she's a lot more. Yeah, but yeah. Interestingly, after we released part 1, Jenny Rose, the flat earther, deleted her Instagram, her TikTok, her Facebook. I think we might have, scared her off of the internet, which is good. But we still need to cover the rest of the stupid she said, because there was a lot of stupid.
Yeah, that stuff needs wiping out, needs removing. Brenda asking for a link. It's this stream. It's this very stream. I'm not going to shut it down. I'm going to run on in this stream for the debate, if that's what you're asking
Could
for.
one of my mods in my chat please get the link for Culture Cat's stream and spam it so that everyone can go over there, and when this shuts down in like 5-10 minutes, everyone please head over to Cat's and watch an amazing educator teach somebody that is very, very important. I honestly can't believe, with what we've just gone through in the entire planet, that people think viruses don't exist. What just shut us down?
It's incredible. But this guy, and I'm going to say this in the debate, so, I'll be brief because I don't want to keep repeating myself, but I think there are people out there who are spreaders of misinformation, who just need ripping up. You get your David Vices or your Nathan Oakleys in a debate, and you just rip them apart because you need to show them up for what they are, because they're spreading misinformation to other people and doing it for money. So, this guy I'm debating today, I put him in the camp as being someone who's a victim of misinformation.
Right.
So I'm going to try and take a more educational tack with him, but I've never really spoken to him too much. So we'll see. We'll see.
Now, of course, you're obviously you are a physics teacher, but your main educational background is actually in biology, isn't it?
I've got a master's degree in biology. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we shall see. See that. It was a long time ago. I'm getting old now, mate.
Oh my god, I can't believe that I'm nearly 40 years old. I'll be 40 in next year, and I'm like, when did that happen? Sometimes I wake up at night and I think, shit, I'm responsible for my own life. Oh my god.
It is. You know what? I feel now though. I'm mid-40s now, and I feel every bit as silly and childish and as I did when I was 18, 19.
I don't think we ever get past 14, us guys, up here somewhere, because you know, I'm 39. I've got 2 kids. You know, I've got my own place. Yet I'm still this teenager in my head. You know, this that I just want to have fun, and it's like, wait, what? I'm an adult. That's not right.
I know, like the thing is, life changes as you get older, but you don't change. Life changes around you.
Yeah.
And it makes you have to change.
You have to adapt, but
you don't really
I don't think you can ever change who you are, and I'm always going to be that little nerdy boy. You know, that's never going to stop.
Oh, thank you, Timo, so much. I'll have to read that now. So they send lunar rock samples to unis to be analysed. The students are convinced they're not from Earth. And then somehow we think the Earth is flat. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Thank you, Timo. But
misinformation. I mean, this is a lot of fun that we do, right? And you know, there is something more important behind it, because misinformation is dangerous. Or I attack Flat Earth, which is it's dangerous, but it's not like anti-vaxxers and stuff, and it's just fun. But it's like a breeding ground for misinformation of other kinds. You know. I'm talking to a flat earther on Facebook that is, he's a moon landing denier. He denies viruses. He said vaccines don't work. He thinks there's no such thing as jet fuel, and planes fly with compressed air, and so do F1 cars use compressed air. You know, it's every single conspiracy. Have you heard of Morgellon fibers?
Morgellon, as in like Morgella, as I love that. As Morgella, as in like Merlin and Arthur.
There's a conspiracy that chemtrails, they leave these things called Morgellon fibers that are self-aware robot fibers that just look like cat hairs or bits of like fluff on your clothes. That they're actually government drones left by chemtrails, and it's a real thing that people think is the government, and this flat earther, it's every single conspiracy that you can think of, and that's what flat earth does. It breeds conspiracy, because if you think the earth is flat, then everyone's lying to you, and if everyone's lying to you, then every conspiracy is true.
Yeah. Well, you're right, and if you've got to the point where you think the earth is flat, then literally whatever science says doesn't matter, because you're ignoring all science to think the earth is flat anyway. You know, it doesn't matter. You're assuming that there is some sort of science out there to explain what's going on, but it ain't the science that we all know. And then you just apply that to everything, and you go off on all sorts of tangents, don't you?
So if one of your students came to you and was like, I think the earth's flat, would you feel like a failure?
You know what? That is how it wasn't quite like that, but that is how I started on YouTube. One of my students came to me showing me a video. It was one of Dell's videos, actually, where he poured the water on a pole. And
Dell, gotta love it.
Oh, yeah, blessed. And she just thought it was hilarious. She just couldn't stop laughing about it. And that's kind of like what got me interested in. Thought, I could use it as an educate, like a tool to engage these kids that I was teaching at quite a rough school at the time. They weren't that interested in science. They were more interested in where the next meal will come in from, that kind of thing. And so anyway, it's a long story. I've told it before.
Yeah, it's good that none of your students ever actually thought that, and even kids at that age realize what bullshit it is. Right, I'm going to read the few super chats that I have, and okay. Then I can shut down on this side, and you can carry on over at yours. Thanks everyone for watching, and again, the link for Cat Stream should be in the chat, so please head over there and support him debating about the existence of viruses, because yeah, viruses definitely exist. Mr. Toffees, member for 11 months, says don't forget to like and share, people. Yes, thank you very much, guys. And then Wayne Carr, been a member for 12 months, says FTFE and Cats, 2 bloody awesome leg ends. Yes, thank you. Cats is a legend. He's one of the reasons I started this. Jezen, member for 11 months, says, why is the flat earther not shouting or interrupting? Yeah, cats, you need to up your Flerf game. If you're going to be a flat earther, you need to shout and scream at me and interrupt and stuff, okay?
Oh, sorry. I did too much of that last week against Flatzoid. I thought I'd calm it down a bit this week.
Better as a flat earther than you were a glober. A part of history, who is our good friend Speak Truth, Seek Truth, Speak Truth, for £2 says, thank you for the shout out. If you check my community tab, it's a link to Seek Truth, Speak Truth's new video on his Part of History channel. Excellent stuff over there. Please go and check it out. Andreas Eldritch for 26 says, how about Kit Kat Earth with tectonic strips? Shut up. Stop giving them ideas. Ben Kalel, $5 says, the horizon would be obscure if the Earth was flat. It would be too far away to see clearly. Yeah, I think there would be a horizon, but it would be very blurry and fuzzy. You're right. Blackstar EOP for €6 says, on the continent size, simple math, simple reasoning using tangents will explain this. Simple maths, flat earthers don't get it. Sorry. Rachbot, my favourite AI, has been a member for 35 months, says, great to see you as always, Craig. No, great to see you guys. 400 of you watching, it's amazing. Paradise Decay for £2 says, save a Flerf funds, thank you very much. And Smarter Girl Zumi, member for 10 months, says, flat, round, we all know that Earth is a tomato. Earth is clearly a cat. That's the way forward. Alright guys, thank you very much for watching. This has been great fun. Please head over to Conspiracy Cats' channel to see the debate there. Culture Cats channel. Link in the chat. It's been awesome, guys. Thank you very much. And remember, stupidity is not a right. Fight the flat Earth. Fight the flat. Fight the flat.
And there we go. Now I don't know what happens now. Whether I've got to remove more. I guess we'll find out. I've just got a couple of super chats to read out, and then we'll have a chat about what's going to happen in the serious debate. We've got Andrus Elder. Kit Kat Earth. See, I should have come up with a Kit Kat Earth. That's a good one. Thank you so much.